So what are the articles of association of a company? Well, the answer is that a limited company is a legal person. But unlike you and me, for example, where we're registered at the Registry of Births, Deaths and Marriages, a company's registered at Companies House. And what you'll see at Companies House is the first document is effectively the incorporation document where the company comes to life and it's born. But unlike you and me, where we don't have rules, we have rules when we're brought up by our parents, and so the company doesn't have rules in the same way, okay? Because whilst it has people that run it called the directors, and it has people that own it called the shareholders in most cases, or the members, it's essentially a being that is allowed to exist by virtue of the Companies Act 2006, amongst other things. And what happens is, for a company to exist and run, there have to be a series of rules. And the way that the Companies Act 2006 provides for some of those rules is the central section of rules, aside from the Act itself, is the Articles of Association. And what the Articles of Association of a company are, is they are effectively the company, the main constituent part of the company's constitution, which essentially determines how the company at a very high level is going to be run. Now, what that means is we're not talking about the fact that when it opens a bank account and it determines what the level of the overdraft is, or that sort of stuff. It's a much higher level in terms of appointment of the directors, how the shareholders can pass resolutions to affect the constitution, the shareholdings of the company, who appoints the directors, how they're appointed, what their rights are, what their restrictions are, and how the business at the highest level of the company is going to operate, and what's going to happen to the company's shareholdings, and so on, how you convene meetings to effect fundamental changes, including, for example, if you want to change directors or you want to change the articles of the company that determine how that kind of business of a company is undertaken. It's very common, for example, in a company that has more than one shareholder, that in order to pass resolutions at a meeting in particular, that at least two shareholders need to be present at that meeting, and that one shareholder is not sufficient, even if that shareholder has the vast majority of the shares, including 75% or more, which would be sufficient to pass a special resolution. So that ultimately is right at the heart of things. The Articles of Association is the company's main constitution that sets out its key rules for meetings and effecting fundamental changes to the overall structure of the company. Questions, queries, concerns, give us a shout. You know what I'm going to say, but this is not just about insolvency, but we know insolvency inside out.